Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Let's discuss. Yep, today we have another episode of WandaVision, the second to last one. I'm sad it's ending. Not sure what I'm gonna do when it ends. I guess I will wait for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that, what is that? I don't know when that's coming out. I think that's coming out during my spring break, but it's time. It's time between when WandaVision ends and when that starts. So I'll just be sad. Perhaps I'll binge it. Yeah, I'll do that. But anyways, new episode's out. I stayed up again until 2 a.m. to watch it. Once again, Disney was having issues, as if they don't know. We're all up at 2 o'clock in the morning, at least for me, waiting for this show to air, refreshing. Like, hello, where are y'all at? It's the 8th episode. Why are we having these connection problems? Get it together, because they're not doing this with the season finale. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Figure it out. Now. Ridiculous. But yes, I stayed up and watched it. Usually I watch it a second time when I wake up, but I have homework to do. So I just said, you know what? We're just going to record first thing when I get up. And that's what we're doing. So if I can't remember things or if I say something wrong, I've only seen it once and it was at 2 a.m. So... but I feel like I remember most of it, so let's hope for the best. Spoilers for episode 7. No, this is 8. Spoilers for episode 8 of WandaVision and the rest of WandaVision. So if you haven't seen it, bye. Bye. I'll catch you later. I'll see you another time when you have seen it. I'll see you then. Yeah. So, as I always do, I'm just going to talk about the biggest things in my mind with this episode. And for me, obviously, because we spend the majority of the episode with just Agatha and Wanda, so they are my two biggest things, is Agatha and Wanda, but we'll start with Agatha because the episode starts with Agatha. So, Agatha, she's been around. She's been here. You know, she's like, I've been alive before even your before your ancestors were born. That's how long I've been here. So yeah, we start the episode with a little flashback to Agatha's origins. She was a witch during the Salem witch trials, and it seems like she's about to get like burned at the stake. At least that's what I thought was happening, because you know, Salem witch trials, she's a witch. But no, she was just getting like ousted, exiled, and you know, sentenced to death by her coven because she had used dark magic, which was forbidden. So the whole coven and her mothers got her chained up. They're shooting little rays of magic at her, trying to kill her, but Agatha does a little Uno reverse card and she sucks all their magic out and she kills them, even her mother. Yikes. Talk about a strained relationship between mother and daughter. Ooh. So yeah, I guess sucking in all of their power made her immortal, and we see that the brooch that she's been wearing, which everyone thought was Mephisto, was not. It was just a brooch that her mother had, and she took it off of her mother's dead body, and she said, all right, I'm gone. I'm gonna do my own thing. Y'all be easy. And yeah, I guess she's immortal, because, you know, Salem witch trials happened in, like, what, the 17th century? And we're in the 21st, so she's been around for a minute. Good for her. And that also kind of explains what she wants with Wanda. We find out that she got to the hex not because what I thought, and I don't know if anyone else thought this, we thought that she had coerced Wanda into making the hex. But no, she was just drawn to its power because, you know, she's a power-sucking, killing witch. So she sees this massive amount of magical power being used to create this thorough, realistic reality. And she's like, I want it. Open your purse. Open your magic, Wanda. So she basically just was drawn into it, and she just wants Wanda's powers. She's over here to ask, she's got Wanda like chained up and stuff, and she's interrogating her. She's like, how'd you do it? This is some next level magic stuff, and I want in. So tell me. And you better, because I have your children locked in some room. So, what's it gonna be, Wanda? Either tell me how you got your powers, or your kids are gonna be bye-bye. Say goodbye to your kids. And so she then takes her on this like gallery tour of her trauma to figure out how Wanda got to making the hex, because you know she just wants her powers. So I know we all We were all thinking some kind of Mephisto nonsense, and it turned out that she was just drawn to her powers and she wants it for herself. That's all it was. There was no Mephisto. But we did that to ourselves. So can we be mad? No. We did that to ourselves. So at least I did that to myself. I don't know if anyone else was doing that to themselves, but I just remember every episode everyone was like, Mephisto? And no. It was not. It's just Agatha being a hoe for magic. What can we say? What can we say? What can she say? Who doesn't want a little magic? So yeah, we go on a gallery tour of Wanda's trauma, and that leads us now to Wanda. This episode did a very good job at exploring her mental state. Like, we've seen all the bad things that have happened to Wanda, but we've never spent time on what it's actually doing to her. Like, we never sat back and thought, her parents, her brother, and now her boyfriend. Oh, well, let's just keep going. Let's worry about the next MCU villain to worry about. But Wanda's been going through it since she was a child. And it's just taken a huge toll on her. It's just been trauma after trauma after trauma after trauma. And of course, like with any being, this would just be a lot. And it would just be so hard to handle and go through. And so, of course, Wanda's, a little upset. She's a little mad. Of course, she just wants this reality to stay the way it is because she's been through so much. This episode's really helping us empathize with Wanda and seeing just how bad her mental state has gotten to no fault of her own, because she's just gone through a lot. And it's good and nice to just see how this has been affecting her all this time and how it all culminates to her making the hex. And then we also see a few, when I say these are retcons, I don't really know. I can't remember what Pietro said in Age of Ultron, and I'm not going to go rewatch. But I think they retconned how Wanda's family died. Because I strong belief there, that Pietro said in Age of Ultron that they were just sitting around the dinner table eating, and then the bomb happened. But in here, they were sitting around watching the Dick Van Dyke Show, and then everything happened. So I believe that was retconned. And then there was another thing that was retconned in a second, I think. Or not, no, I wouldn't count that as a retcon. Just something else that we found out. And so I'll get to that in a second. They did a very good job at exploring Wanda's trauma and explaining how it culminates in her making the hex. And I really like the explanation for why the hex is a sitcom reality. And it's basically because Wanda's family used to watch sitcoms together to learn English, which is depressing and sad, oh my god. But then the reason we start with the Dick Van Dyke Show is because that's what they were watching when her parents died. And at the end of the episode, we do finally see how Wanda makes the hex. And she just spontaneously makes it in this moment of pure agony and rage and grief. And it's that next wave. She talks about how every piece of trauma is another wave going over her. And this was like the final wave. This is like the biggest tidal wave. And it had just rushed over her. She had just seen Vision's body completely dismantled by Hayward. That asshole. I don't even want to spend time on him, but he's an asshole. Just know that. She just saw his body completely dismantled, completely destroyed. She was trying to feel him, and she realized she couldn't feel him anymore. And so she just left. And then when she gets in her car, she finds this envelope. I don't know who gave it to her. I don't know. But apparently it's a map to Westview. And in a little heart, it says, where we can grow old together, something like that. And it's signed V, so we're under the impression this is from Vision. So of course Wanda goes, and she finds herself in Westview, and she's driving around. And she's just realizing this is a life she could have had with Vision, but once again, it was taken away from her. She comes up to this empty, abandoned construction site of a house, because I think that's where the coordinates took her. And she's just standing there, and that's that big tidal wave again coming over her of all this grief, loss, and pain. And in that moment of just agony, she creates the hex. Just outpouring agony. And that's why, when you remember all the Westview residents saying that when in their head, she's in their head, and all they feel is this overwhelming feeling of grief and pain and sadness and loss, that's because when Wanda created the hex, that's what she was feeling at the moment. It's coming from that piece of Wanda, this piece of the part of Wanda, which is pretty much all of her at this point, that is struggling so much with overwhelming grief that she just created this whole hex. And so that's why everyone can feel it, because she was feeling it in that moment. But I think I kind of went on a tangent away from sitcoms, But yes, the sitcoms. Why it's a sitcom, setting. Basically. So, if, we all remember, Dick Van Dyke was a show they were watching when Wanda's parents were killed by the bomb. And so that is like the origin of Wanda's pain. In this episode, or in this like new version of what happened, Wanda was saying that when the episode ends, because somehow the TV was still, after, in all the wreckage, the TV was still playing the Dick Van Dyke Show. And that's also Wanda's favorite show, by the way. That was her favorite episode. But she says to Pietro, by the end of the episode, we'll wake up and realize that all of this was just a bad dream. So yes, Dick Van Dyke's Show is tied to Wanda's origin of pain, and we know she created the hex from this overwhelming sense of grief and pain and just a moment of pure agony and rage and grief. And so she's pulling on all of those traumatic moments in her life. Her parents, Pietro dying, Vision, everything to just create this hex. So where it all started was her parents dying. And at that moment, sitcoms are tied to her trauma. The setting of this reality is taking place in a moment that is tied to the origin of Wanda's pain. So it's a very clever, and I really like that they tied the sitcoms to Wanda's good memories, but also her trauma. She used to watch sitcoms with her family, and even Vision. There's a scene where they were watching Malcolm in the Middle together. It was very sweet and endearing. It was probably one of the first few times Vision and Wanda really connected and showed the blossoming of their relationship. So it's very heartbreaking, but also heartwarming to see that sitcoms are not only a place of comfort for Wanda, but a source of trauma. And it's also clever that, the whole thing starts with the Dick Van Dyke Show, and that's what they were watching at the origin of Wanda's pain. So it all starts there, and that's why, it all takes place in that moment, and it all takes place in this reality, in this setting. And I just think that was very clever, but also very sad, because, we all wanted to know why sitcoms, and now we know, and it's very depressing and sad, and I just want the best for Wanda. I do. Poor girl. Hayward's an asshole. Oh my god. She just wanted to bury Vision. And he was like, he's not yours, so look at us dismantle him. Say your little goodbyes now, because we're keeping him, and we're going to turn him into a weapon against his wishes. Suck it up. Hayward's an ass, and I wish nothing for him. Except for Wanda to take care of him when the time comes. I do. Wanda, do it. You're free to do that. I do it. I support you. But yeah, that was it. He made it seem like she just outright stole Vision, his corpse. But she just walked out. She just left. And then she went and created the hex. But she didn't take his body. So then what courts were we seeing them track? Because she didn't take his body or anything. I don't know. Hayward's an ass. That's all I need to know. So another thing that I think was explained differently than it was in the past, but I don't really know because maybe we'd all just assumed, was Wanda's powers and how she got them. For the most part, up until now, we thought that she just got her powers from the Infinity Stone, which is now partially true. Now it's that Wanda, or at least Agatha reveals that Wanda has always had magic, or at least some level of powers. And instead of the Infinity Stone giving it to her, it just amplified them. We see, and I guess it's in Wanda's head. It happens in Wanda's head because the Hydra agents don't see it. But in Wanda's head, the Infinity Stone comes to her, and it shows her a vision of her as the Scarlet Witch, and then she passes out. So perhaps the Infinity Stone just sensed a magical being in its presence and went to her, chose her, and then it amplified her powers, which I think kind of happens in the comics. Because I think in the comics, Wanda starts off not having basic powers, but a basic version of her powers. And then something happens, she goes through something, I can't remember exactly what. And then her powers are then amplified to be what it was, to be this whole reality warping, chaos magic whole thing. So Wanda, we find out that Wanda has always had powers, and they were just amplified to what they are now. Cool. I don't really think I was starting to think that was a retcon, but then I was like, nah. We kind of just assumed that the Infinity Stone gave her powers, and it's not entirely wrong. It's just not the source of her powers, It's just not the source. So yeah, what happened in the end? That was Wanda and Agatha. The biggest things I took away from them. I just really loved how this episode explored Wanda's mental state. That was great. And so, like, the next couple of things, yeah, Wanda, you know, her kids have been kidnapped by Agatha as motive to explain how she explained the hex or created the hex. And so at the end of the episode, we finally see the twins again. Agatha's got them in a literal chokehold with her powers, and she's telling Wanda, she's like, I know how you did this, and you're incredibly dangerous. She tells Wanda that, you know, she's got chaos magic. I mean, we saw her create matter out of literally nothing. Out of her, just her. Because when we see her create the hex, she starts first by creating this house, and she just creates matter out of nothing. And then she creates vision. How she creates vision, I don't really know. It kind of looked like she just manifested vision, and because she was connected to the Mind Stone, she kind of just, you know, like, I don't know how to explain it, but, you know, she kind of just, like, manifested him and created more matter out of nothing. And then she just said, you know what? Y'all are coming with me. And she said, everyone together now, and just expanded the border and essentially created Westview. And Agatha's like, you're too powerful. You're dangerous. This chaos magic, this whole creating matter out of nothing, it's wild. It's crazy. And she's like, and you know what that makes you? That makes you the Scarlet Witch. And that is the first time, ladies and gentlemen, and people, that we have ever heard the name the Scarlet Witch be used in the MCU. It was cool. The Scarlet Witch. Yeah, Wanda said, yeah, I am the Scarlet Witch, so you better let go of my kids, or I swear to God, I'll wreck you. I will wreck your life, just like I did almost with Thanos. I'll do that again to you, but this time successfully. So yeah, we get Scarlet Witch mentioned. That was very nice. We see that the twins are all right, but they're being held hostage. And then we have a post-credit scene with Idiot Sword Agent number 1. God, I don't like him. I don't like him. He's a dick. He needs to go. Now. But you see him, he uses, remember when Wanda, like, threw that little drone at them that they tried to use to infiltrate Westview, and it had all her magic all over it? They use that as, like, to extract the power from the drone, and then they use it to create a new vision. This time, a white vision, which is from the comics. I believe in the comics, the white vision is the bad vision, obviously, and then you have regular vision, and they, I guess, fight or something. I can't exactly remember the storyline behind bad vision, but he exists in the comics, so it's cool to see them do that now. So yeah, Hayward's got his own little vision. I do not like Hayward. When he's eventually taken care of, I will be cheering at 2 a.m. I will also be back in my apartment, so I will have a better setup to review the finale. Let's go! But anyways, yeah. That's pretty much all that happened. I just wonder what's going to happen in the next episode. We're going to have a lot. We're going to have a lot to go through. We're going to have to deal with Vision when he comes back. We're going to have to deal with Monica and her photon powers, and then Darcy and Jimmy. Obviously, they will probably be on the side of Wanda, so they'll all have to, like, band up. But then we'll also see Wanda, you know, fighting to get her kids back and fighting to protect Vision. Will she destroy the reality? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And then we'll see, you know, Wanda v. Agatha, and then Wanda v. Sword. So a lot could be happening in the next episode, but it will be a banger again, because I expect nothing less, and they always deliver. So I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm sad that it's ending, but we're gonna get a banger episode. We will. It's true. It's true. It's gonna be great. So yeah, another great episode of WandaVision. I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, don't forget to like it, subscribe, and then leave a comment on what you thought about episode 8 of WandaVision, what you think is going to happen in episode 9, all that jazz. All the jazz. And I'll see y'all later. I think I'm going to review all of the Oscar baity films that I've seen. I've seen One Night in Miami, Minari, Nomadland, and Judas and the Black Messiah. Judas and the Black Messiah, we'll see if anyone nominates them. They should, but we'll see. And I will be reviewing those films soon. Probably when I'm back in my apartment, so it'll be a better setup. But until then, bye. Bye.
We're 10 years old, having dinner, the four of us. And the first shell hits 2 floors below. It makes a hole in the floor. It's big. Our parents go in, roll under the bed, and the second shell hits, but it doesn't go off.